IntellectualRadio.com. Now, hey, the number to get into this conversation, 708-223-8953. And don't let me forget to mention, this is our radio station. All right, everybody, y'all know the deal. We got the great Mr. Timothy Evans along with me, your Abdul Rashid.
How y'all doing, Facebook?
Without a doubt, without a doubt. Now, check it out, y'all. We gonna get deep into this thing that I know almost everybody you've been seeing. I'm gonna be honest, probably been every news cycle and so forth. All right. And we are going to talk about the student protest. All right. Now let's think about this, everybody. Changes that have been needed in our society are many times pushed by the students. It ain't pushed by the adults all the time, but it's really pushed by the students. And you got such top-notch colleges such as Columbia, you got UCLA, Kent State, uh, University of Texas, Mississippi, University of Chicago, and a host of others throughout Europe that are once again on the front lines to better our world. Now, while they're out to fight the good fight, to many of y'all and to ourselves, two questions come to mind. Is this fight being effective? Or, and we'll say the and too, are they going a little bit too far? Talk to me, brother.
Well, I think in recent days, these the protests that the college students are involved in are a little bit, to me, it's a little bit problematic. Not because of the students, but how the protests are being covered by the media.
Yeah, it's been a kind of a slant to things, but go ahead.
Right. There has been a slant to things. And I think that is because a lot of the media is lockstep into the same message. Um, I think that um, throughout history, uh, the establishment does not like college kids. And
Yes.
they will, no matter what no matter what the kids are protesting in college, they are going to be against it.
And the funny thing is, the establishment and so forth brought the levels to college and all that to further your mind, to give, you know, an extra voice and so forth. And a lot of times, if it's not going along with the status quo, they want to silence you.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
So in this case, um, they on both sides, they definitely want to have order, right? They want to be able to control the situation, and they want to police what the students say. That's kind of crazy. You want to be able to control the environment and also control the speech that is coming out of the student's mouth.
Yeah,
So
I
how's that how can you protest if you're controlling both aspects?
well, and then we're gonna give a little background with everything. To those who don't know, the protests are about the situation that's going on within Gaza. And as they say at the start of October 7th, I mean, personally, I disagree with that, and some others will, but I'm just going to leave that on me. Okay. But anyhow, for those who don't know, you know, October 7th, Hamas came in and did some wrongful things, and then the government, and I'm going to stress this point because nobody's attacking people, but we are speaking on the government of Israel went to war with Hamas, and there's a lot of casualties. It's and it's funny, y'all, that we have to I'm gonna be very honest, careful with our words, and we shouldn't have to. But anyhow, you know, the government, you know, they're they're attacking not only the people of Hamas, but the innocent people, and are killing many, many innocent folks. And I'm going to just say it as, on that level. Now, there's no way that if a place of higher learning, there's no way that they should silence, as long as, and I will say this, as long as the students are being within the rules of the game. You can't go and threaten the lives of other folks and all that. I agree with that 100%. But you can speak your mind,
Mm.
you know.
Mhm.
And for these schools, because of a lot of outside forces are getting upon them for allowing these kids to speak their mind, you know, they are wrong. They are completely wrong, and a lot of, you know, higher ups in these schools are worried about, you know, losing their jobs because of these investors are having issue, you know.
So you mean like the business investors?
The Yeah, we'll just say that, the business investors. And there's the ironic thing, which personally I'm just gonna put it on me. I'm not gonna put it on you, my brother, or anybody at this station. You know, the students just, they said plain and simple, divest in Israel doing what they're doing until they can get on the right track, which they should have been. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So the students speaking their mind on that, you have to. I personally, I applaud them. You know, because I feel that they should divest. You know, in that country and giving them money to do what they do. Go ahead, though. You was about to say something, man.
Okay, so in researching this issue, I have to admit there is so much information out there that I don't know. So that's why I'm not going to talk about like the conflict itself. You know what I mean? Because there's so many elements out there with who is doing what. I can't really speak on that. But what I can speak on is um, the perception of individuals in media who take one side or the other, right? So you have, I listen to, I listen, and it's hard. I listen to a lot of AM radio,
Okay.
trying to get ready for this,
Yeah,
trying to get
I
ready.
get it. I get it.
So I'm listening to AM radio, right? And they have various, speakers, and they exaggerate against the side that they don't know that they don't like. They tell a lot of non-truths about some of the situations that are going on, or exaggerate. They may be
Yeah,
exaggerating about
we'll
what's
be
going on,
nice and we'll just say they stretching the truth. But
right?
go ahead.
Or what's going on in the camp on campus. They may say that the the students are chanting one thing or the other, or they may be representing one point or another, and it might just be one random guy sitting in the corner, saying things.
Yes.
So I was very irritated, about the manipulation of what is happening. How media out there is manipulating the whole aspect of the protest. And the media's manipulation is getting, government figures, uh, it's getting, uh, the police, the college officials to act on, you know, on situations that may not be so out of hand. You know what I mean?
You know what? And I'm gonna throw this at you and just want to hear what you thought. Well, you're thinking. Um, a lot of them are saying that there are a lot of professional agitators, which I if they professional, they getting paid. So I love to know who's paying them. But there's a lot of professional agitators within these protests. Do you feel the same that there are some out there, or what do you think?
For the for which side? The pro
Well,
Palestinian or the pro
they
Israel?
they never really said, even though I know they took it towards pro Palestinian side, but they never said in particular. So do you feel either side? Do they have some professional agitators in there?
Um, I don't know how you mean professional paid.
Paid
It
agitators,
could be.
yeah,
It
yeah.
could be. I wouldn't put it past anybody to put some paid people on
And,
either
and,
side.
and I'm saying, who is paying them? But go ahead, though.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that college students, you know, are passionate on both sides, right?
Yes,
They're passionate on the right and passionate on the left, pro Israel, pro Palestinian. They're both passionate. I think that picking a side instead of just saying, we don't want civilians, we don't want women and children killed, is probably, if you're not saying that, then I'm probably not on your side because I don't want civilians to get killed on either side,
I agree.
right?
I agree.
They're not in it.
Uh,
This is to
right.
me.
I mean, they're just folks that stuck. I'm gonna
Right. They're
keep
just
it
stuck in
very
it. They're trying to get away from the fighting.
all
Right.
together, right?
So if you are like angry at the people, that doesn't make any sense to me. If you're angry at the Palestinian people or you're angry at the Jewish people, it just doesn't make any sense. They're not the ones who are pushing all of this stuff. You know what I mean? So I know that it's kind of like you want to defend a side or um, but I think that it goes a little bit deeper than what the media is kind of portraying the college. You know, you know what I mean? It makes them like kind of sound like they don't know what's happening.
Yeah,
That they're just
yeah,
out there saying stuff. Like,
and there's a lot of I didn't mean to cut you, but there's a lot of folks, especially within like the speaker for the House, Mike Johnson. You
mhm,
know, he and a bunch of others are saying a lot that these college students don't know what's going on, but we're all connected through the cell phones.
mhm.
All right, you could get all your news and so forth through it. And the fact of social media, and I know a lot of folks will sit here and say, well, social media could be slanted, blah, 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 blah. But you'll have things where people are sending videos or
Mhm.
they're sending pictures of what's going on. And I've personally seen a lot of pictures that I'm just like, you get shocked because you'll have those that would feel that that's okay. On some of the pictures that I've seen online, and then you have other ones also that will say, "Oh, this is fake, that is fake." But you're in the middle of a war zone. How can you fake some of these pictures? You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If you're in the studio and so forth, yes, there's technology that you can make something look completely different. You can make it like we're talking on the moon personally if we really wanted to. So that's different within the studio, but this is in the middle of a war zone. You can't really fake that. And for certain entities to say that, it's like
Yeah.
come on, do you feel that I'm really that dumb?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, it's the fact that and I agree with you that the media should pull it straight down the middle, you know, tell it for what it is, and a lot of times it's a slant into it, and you can see by some of the words that they say.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it can be pro, um, provocative, you know, when they talk about each side, but it's just a larger, it's like a larger picture of how they see who they align with. You know what I mean? So
I,
if you're talking about violence, right? I always believe that violence is not the way to get things done, right? Unless somebody comes at you, you need to be able to
yeah, unless
protect
you have no
yourself.
choice. If
Right,
they bring you to a point of no choice, I
right.
get that. I get
And,
that
and
100%.
so if somebody is advocating like, oh, we need to do this, um, this violent thing to get our point across, I always, I won't say always, but most of the times I would disagree with that point.
Yes.
You know, so you know, I believe that the protest of the college students, that's what they're basically advocating. They want a ceasefire. They want the stop. They want the killing to stop.
Right.
And I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, what would be the argument of keeping the fight going?
Well, it's because the government, and I state that again, the government of Israel claims that what they want to do completely is to annihilate Hamas. And what I'm about to say personally, I'm going to put it on myself once again, nobody else. You know, it's like the the leader of the UN Council. He said one time that the situation on October 7th didn't happen in a vacuum.
Hmm.
It didn't. Okay, there is a lot of things that brought that upon, and you know, the students just don't want their money going towards more killing. Can you blame them for not wanting that? You know, who would want, you let's just say you go, I don't know, get a gallon of gas. I'll say something as simple as that. And part of that gallon that you got is going towards a rocket that's going to mess around and kill a number of people that had nothing to do with this. It's just because where they were born. Come on now. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, and that's really all the students are. They're saying they don't want their money put towards that. And I believe that personally, that should be their right. If they don't want their money put towards that, those that are within the seats of power should listen.
Well, I mean, they have done that before with the apartheid in South Africa.
Right. In the Vietnam War and, things such as that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Um, in this case, you know, I don't know. Like I said, I don't really know enough information to see if that is a valid route that they can take or that they should take, because you don't want to
Well,
you
go ahead. Go ahead.
okay, I mean, you want the fighting to stop,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You want Hamas to stop, bombing Israel. You want Israel to stop bombing Hamas. You want that to stop. So it's like you're gonna hurt the. Are you gonna hurt the civilians of Israel if you, or are you trying to get them to act? That's what you're saying. Are you trying to get the
Well,
citizens to act against the government or something?
personally, what I believe is that, the only way for a real solution to this, and it would have been a long time ago, if they went on 1948 rules and went to the two-state solution. which is supposed to be. Or if I'm correct, if it ain't 48, it's at the 67 level. Because it was a lot of I'll just say issues within that region of the world. You could put a lot of different terms with it. I'm just going to say that. And they should have went to this two-state solution, where then that way at that point, people have their area, they have their land, and you would hope, entities such as Hamas would not had that reason, that cry to become in power. Because when you have, somebody suppressing another, okay, those who are being suppressed or oppressed, whichever way you want to put it, they are looking for different ways out. They're looking for a better way and a better day. And they're not going to be friends of those who are putting their foot on their neck. They're not going to have a good outlook of you. And they probably would have. And that's what I'm saying. If they went to that point of that two-state solution, these entities such as Hamas wouldn't have the power that they had. All right. There's other entities out there that same thing. It wouldn't have been there because it wouldn't have been a reason, for them to have, that space, because people would have been like, I ain't trying to hear you, but when you get people to that point with no other choice, or they feel that way, then, well, it's hard to say that people are going to be just a happy, happy, joy, joy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't believe, and maybe I'm wrong, and I will happily, and I'm going to put this out here for anybody. If you feel I'm wrong, hey, give us a call, 708-223-8953, or hit us up on Facebook Live. But, if anybody want to call me on that, come on with it. But I do believe that.
I believe that. Okay, so I believe in like pawns, right? So a lot of times people in a society, I think they get manipulated, right?
Yeah.
And they don't know why. They basically just want to live their life, raise their family, and they want to live in peace, right? Nobody wants to fight.
Right.
They want the best for their kids. That's probably the number one thing, right? That's what the regular individual is thinking about. I bet that's what 90%, probably 95% of a country's population is thinking about. How can I make the best world for my kids, right?
Yep.
So it's that 5% who is doing all the back and forth stuff, right? We need this, we need that, we need to make allies here, we need to be on this side of the argument and that side of the argument.
Those who just want power for the sake of having power,
right?
What you're saying.
Most people do not care. I just want to make a living. I just want to eat food, good food, have some nice get-togethers with my friends, and that's probably every country in the world, right? But you got these individuals, this 5% of probably every country who tries to direct things, right? They don't want things to go smoothly because they have powerful people pushing them to do one thing or the other, right? You got powerful people saying, I want you as a politician to do this. You might have a church saying, I want you to do this. Or you might have a military contractor who help you get elected saying, I want you to do that. And they push people to do different things, right? Even though 95% of the population say, you know what, that's my neighbor over there. I want to be at peace with that group. I don't want to be fighting that group.
Right.
So what do we have to do to have us not fight? I don't want to worry about that group every day.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
I think that's 95% of the people.
Right.
I mean, even with the United States and all the immigration problems that we have here, you know, it's 5% of the people who want to have an issue with immigration one way or the other. They're like, oh, they're a problem, they're a problem, they're a problem. And then how are we going to push through legislation so we can get our ideals and our ideas across? So we got to get a group of people. We got to get some voters together so we can push these people to do what we want them to do. So we have to, get on AM radio. We have to get on social media and direct these people because this is our power, right? We got to push them to do stuff. Most people, if you didn't push in their head all the bad things that were happening to them, they wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
As long as they living okay half
right.
the time,
they wouldn't even care.
They'll be all right. Right.
But when they listen to the television and the radio, and they getting told that you are in danger, you are in danger every 5 minutes. Yes. These people are coming across the border with drugs and all of this stuff. No matter what the statistics say, no matter what reality says, these people are like a danger to you. We need to act. We need to act, right? So you have people acting on what they believe to be true. And then, you have another group that counteracts what are you doing? These people are not a problem. Right. These people are trying to get jobs. These people are working for us. They're giving, maybe cheap labor. They're bringing in intellectual, they're bringing in their intellectual, additions to our society.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. And, so then you got a back and forth. And now that's something that the powerful people can use to either get elected, to get what they want. You got all these people fighting back and forth.
Right.
When the situation could have been solved decades ago.
Yes.
You know what
really
I mean?
Could have.
Oh,
if they followed their own rules, they would have been solved.
We can't do anything because it's 50-50. How can it be 50-50?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And when you do a poll, it's always almost never 50-50. It's always 80-20. You know what I mean? Because most people think in a good way, So
yeah, no doubt.
It's ridiculous.
No doubt. Well, look, y'all, we're gonna go to a short musical break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about some of these things with politicians and other things that are popping out. Okay, and we're gonna give you a small special segment on some unknown heroes. All right, we'll be right back. This is Elevated Vibes right here on IntellectualRadio.com. All right, y'all. We are back, And like I said, like I promised, we're going to have a small special segment of some unknown heroes of some present, you know what I'm saying, right here and now, and some of the past. All right. So today we're going to speak about Ibrahim Traore. He is the current president of Burkina Faso in Africa. He is leading this country to be independent of a lot of outsider influence between his country and it's a couple other countries that they are working together, and they're going and they're building for the people. Once again, his name is Ibrahim Traore. He's approximately 35 years old, if I'm correct. So y'all definitely Google the name, look him up, you know, get a little extra understanding about some greats that's sitting out there right now at this day. All right. Now back to the subject at hand. We speaking about the student protest. Um, on what you all may think about them, what we think about it, and hopefully on where things could lead to, and hopefully for the better. Now, on some of the things you was talking about, Tim, you was talking about some of the political things with it. So let me throw this at you, and you let me know what you think. All right. Some out here right now are saying that these protests are hurting the president, our current president, Joe Biden. What do you feel?
Um, I do not think that the protests are hurting Joe Biden right now. Um, I think that he should encourage the protests because um, his party, the Democrats, even though they are heavily swayed towards the establishment, has their base is left leaning, right? And a big part of the left is protests. They protest wars, and that's a big part of the base of the party. So if he tries to squash the protests, I think it will hurt his chances of winning because the college students will be pissed. They won't come out, and yeah, it will definitely hurt his chances of winning. I think that long as he keeps on the saying that we don't want any violence, um, that he should be pretty good. I mean, people understand that they have to have some kind of order.
All right, all right. Now,
Yeah.
another thing that just happened, I would like to say just a couple of days ago at uh, Mississippi University, Ole Miss. All right. It was a protest group, and then it was a counter protest.
Hmm.
And one of the members of the counter protest group started doing, monkey gestures and all that to an African American woman who was with the protest group.
So
Give me your thoughts on it now. From what I hear, his only thing that has happened to him right now is that his fraternity has kicked him out the fraternity. Anything else you think should be going on with that?
well, I also heard that his fraternity kicked him out. Are you saying that he should be kicked out of school or something? But I don't.
Personally, yeah, I do. I mean, yes, it's Mississippi. We all know that.
Mhm.
But yes, I do. And you even had politicians coming out of Georgia like Mike Collins who praised these counter protesters. They praised them. So yeah, personally, I do feel that kids should be kicked out of school because something going on with them, or at least you should suspend them for a year. Sorry, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And then as for Mike Collins, well, hey, he needs to be reprimanded as well. How they would do that, that's a whole political thing, which I don't know. But go ahead.
Hmm. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of torn about kicking him out of school. I think that the pressure at the school might make him want to leave, And I mean, he's on video doing that. It's going to be hard for him to take that, off of his. It's going to be hard for him for a little bit, I believe, if he doesn't stay in the South, I guess, where he do that kind of thing.
Right.
But no, I'm not for kicking him out of school. That was stupid to do. Um,
Yeah, I mean, just imagine what he does off camera.
right, right. So I mean, people are gonna do ignorant things. He didn't physically hit anybody. Yeah, I don't think that he should be kicked out of school. He is definitely probably going to get some consequences for doing that. He might not get hired. He might be ostracized by the other students. You know, um, yeah. Why you think that he should be you said he should be kicked out.
I mean, hey, at least get rid of him for a year. I'm sorry. Hey, maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, they may. I mean, he kind of
know,
reflects the school. They might kick him out.
There
You know what I
go.
mean? I don't think a college would want the reputation of being, a racist institution like that.
Even the ones in Mississippi. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, they make it. I mean, that might be one of the consequences. You
Right.
know.
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah. I mean, it's a business.
Right.
Pretty much at this point, right?
It's a business, and what a business wants to do,
Right.
make money. Videos such as that can make you lose money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a whole thought in that whole deal right there. All right. You also had where Mayor Eric Adams out of New York, he sent the police in for Columbia College and what's the other one? CCNY, City Colleges of New York, because there was protesters there. And don't get me wrong, the protesters on some things probably went a little too far.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sit here and say that they didn't, but should there have been over 300, if I'm correct, 300 arrests in one night? What do you think?
I think that maybe it could have been 300 arrests.
From what I
don't
read,
know if it
came across
should have
it, it was a little bit over 300 arrests. I'm in approximation mode on that one. You know what I'm saying? Because I ran across a few different things. So that's what I'm saying is, should it have been taken that far? Yes, they went a little far with the damage and all that. So I'm not going to sit here and act like they didn't. They were
right.
they were being angels. I'm not going to sit here and act like that.
Mm-hmm.
But just to, physically arrest these students and do some other things I've heard, and it wasn't in New York, but I think it was in Texas or wherever where they were tasing them as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that should have been brought that far. And this is what I'm saying. You think that the police force is going a little bit too far with it, or what?
Well, I think that if they did like property damage or something like that, then they had justifiable reasons to put them in jail. I think that if you get to a situation where the campus, because it is a private institution, if they say get off the property, you gotta you have to disperse. You have to get off the private property or get arrested. So I mean, getting in the protest, that's one of the things that may happen.
Correct.
You know what I mean? When you join a protest, you might get arrested, and you got to be aware of that. Now, arresting the students because they don't want you on their property, now the college might have to pay some consequences for that. You know what I mean? You're arresting your own students for protesting. Yeah. So that might be something that they have to deal with.
Okay.
You know?
All right. Do you feel because some of them went too far is the message of divesting in what Israel is doing to the people of Gaza? Do you feel that message is now becoming lost? that is getting kind of, going from where they was going with it?
Um, no, I don't think so. I think that you know, there's a lot of energy in those protests, and a lot of times in protests, you know, things, property gets destroyed. That happens in almost every protest, right? You
Yeah, I
have
mean,
protests for civil rights. I'm sure some things were destroyed,
yes,
and Black Lives Matter
yeah,
protests, things were
you've had some
destroyed,
issues within there too,
right?
and so I mean, yeah, the issues are there, and you hope and pray that the message isn't lost,
Yeah, and even when Donald Trump lost the presidency, they destroyed some property. So there you go. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
So I guess that's part of the game when you know what I'm saying. So
I
uh,
that's still that whole situation with that individual still dumbfounds me because you are how in the world you are going through was it 4 court cases, 5 court cases, and you might actually become president again?
yeah, I'm getting worried.
I mean,
I'm getting worried.
come on. If I was in court for anything, especially to the levels of what he's in court for now, the worst of jobs wouldn't even hire me,
Right.
and I know it.
Yeah.
So how I don't know. I just feel that people should think about things. I'm just going. I'm going to leave it at that, and
Yeah.
then that can divert to a whole nother topic, show, and all that, and we'll get into things such as that, but not today. But what do you feel that the students should do? Should they do more? Should they, you know, is that enough of what they're doing right now? What do you believe?
um, I believe that the students should use their power politically to try to pressure um, Palestinians and Israel to make some kind of lasting agreement, because this should be the last time something like this ever happens, right? This is the opportunity right now for this to be the end of it once and for all.
Opportunity for true change, right?
Right, right.
Okay.
So, I mean, I wouldn't, yeah, this should be like the last protest about this situation, if possible, you know. Um, and some people in power, I doubt that they want to have that happen, on both sides. And I hate to do both sides because I hate that both sidesism kind of thing, but uh they I think that all the governments in the world should come together and try to pressure them to make some kind of lasting deal that neither one can break easily. And maybe some people in charge right now shouldn't be in charge, and maybe they should have some kind of constitution or some kind of document that states what should happen, and they kind of should be forced to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah, they are two neighbors living right next to each other. You know what I'm saying? Neither one can move, right? If you had a house and you and your neighbor were fighting, about say grass or not mowing the lawn on it, property, you have to come to some kind of agreement, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that an an agreement should come out of this, and they they need to move forward in a better way. And like I said earlier within the show, it has to get to that level of a two-state solution because I can't even shade it no more because I
Yeah.
want to, but I can't. You can't put your thumb on the necks of a bunch of people and believe that that's right. You know, Just as, you know, it should be a certain level of living for one group, it should be that same certain level for the other group and every other group that's around.
Hmm.
Okay. And the fact that it's not, and that's been the status quo for a very long time, there's something wrong with that altogether.
Mm.
You know, there's
Yeah.
something wrong with that altogether.
Yeah, I think I'm turning more left because my idea to problems nowadays when it comes to these countries, I'm like, make that country next to you so good. I mean, in the United States' case, that people don't even want to come there. You know what I mean? They don't want to immigrate because I want to stay in my own country. Help people develop their country to an extent where they don't want to leave, right? So, I mean, my idea would to be to make Palestine a place where no, they don't want to leave. They got their area. It's well developed.
Well, technically, it wasn't a fact of wanting to leave, because that's not what it was. It was just the fact that they wanted to um live and govern themselves and so forth.
Mhm.
But they were under the Israeli rule. And folks, before a lot of folks get into certain things, please look up the history, you know,
Mhm.
because if you give, let's just say I had a lot of land, 2 acres of land.
Mhm.
You should have two acres of land. All right. Thing I should not be saying what you could do on your land.
Mhm.
That's yours, not mine. You know, I don't have a claim to it. And a lot of that was that. And they've been under, like I said, under the thumb of the Israeli government. And it should not have been that. Should have never been that. It should have just, like, they need to it needs to be the ceasefire, and they need to go to this two-state solution, get it right, make it fair, and let's try to get better,
Yeah.
you know. And that's the problem. I mean, it's been so much trauma, and how can I say, it might not get better in our lifetime, but hopefully you can go down that road, you can get to that point, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think that they can come to a fair conclusion? I don't think any agreement would be fair. It has to be a conclusion where nobody likes the outcome.
Well, you have to give a little to get a little, okay? But they could come, okay, this whole situation was put together and made, you know, from the powers of the US and Britain.
Mhm.
So now it needs to have US and Britain to make it fair for everybody. All right. Um if you can't make it fair, if you keep it on how it is, it's never gonna change. Isn't it the saying that one of the things of insanity is keep doing the same thing to get a different the hope, in hopes to get a different outcome?
Mhm.
Come on. You can't keep doing that same thing, riding down that same road, hoping that it's going to get better when it hasn't worked.
So you
Yeah.
don't think the whole UN should get involved?
I
Just
believe that the UN should get involved. I believe everybody should get involved. And I believe that they need to do what they were supposed to do, because they were supposed to go for a two-state solution where the Palestinians have their land and the Israelis have theirs. And it never came to that point. And this is what it needs to be. A lot of it was pushed to the what the status quo is for other political reasons, which it should never have been. And I advise y'all to look it up, because again,
yeah, it's a lot of history,
the
right?
right,
It's a lot of
exactly.
history to that.
The facts are there, so I definitely advise you all to look it up, Because if I say it, I'm just gonna be putting one big pot, and all I'm trying to say is the truth.
Mhm.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know. So I believe that's how that should go. Now, if they keep with the same status quo and thinking that, hey, you just gonna keep them ruling over these people in the ways that they wish to, it's never really gonna change. And then a lot of what this Middle East conflict has been, even not only between them two, but between other countries, it's not gonna go for the better. And we have to look, and I'm just saying, we as human beings have to look and have to strive for that better, whether we like it or not. Because regardless, if you, you know, you could beat things back for right now, but you best believe something will be brewing for later, you know, if you just beat it back and not try to fix it.
Mhm.
And that's the problem. They never try to fix it.
Yeah. Well, that's what politicians do. They don't try to fix the problem. They need something to go back and forth with. Right? I mean, if they tried to fix something, we would have free health care, and
Oh, yeah.
and the abortion issue would be settled already, and the Voting Rights Act would be passed. And it'll be a lot. I mean, we
And
can't even. They need something to back and forth. So I doubt they could prove me wrong, but I doubt that any situation, not just this situation, but any situation will get fixed as long as they can bat the people back and forth like they want.
yeah, because it's easier to
Yeah,
supposedly to control the people. But what
yeah.
happens when the people wake up to the fact that that's what you're doing?
Never wake up.
Yeah, see,
Yeah,
that's the
never wake up.
problem.
Nobody ever wakes up. Everybody's always sleeping, man. We got the internet, we got the TV, we got I don't know.
A little bit of
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, we got everything we need, so it ain't gonna be no waking up.
Right. No, I get it. I get it. But hey, we are coming towards the end of things. So, bro, any final words?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think that you know that the protests on either side, if I were to give them some advice, is to focus on the well-being of the citizens, of the people who are they trying to fight for, and not the 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 conquering of the other side, or the breaking of the other side, making your side win. There's no winners in this. Only winners in this that I can see are the people who live in the countries that the leaders are supposed to be trying to protect. So if they can't come up with a reason, then they're probably not very interested in protecting their citizens like they're supposed to.
Okay, okay. I hear you. Without a doubt. Now, look, real quick, everybody. Well, you know what? My final words are really going to go more towards the students who are protesting. All right. You are calling for the schools to divest within this country. If they will not divest it to Israel, it is time for you, the students, to divest in those schools. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. This is Elevated Vibes Radio. We will catch y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.